Count down to six figures. How to earn more by not accepting for less. From time to time this year, I've talked about the ability to negotiate. The main thought with that is you can't get the business unless you ask for it. And that analogy comes from my working at a car lot as a car salesperson and as an insurance agent. Even this latest or most recent video, in which I highlighted three things I've done right and wrong in 2024, I've made reference to about accept less, earn more, something I've talked about a lot. In fact, I even had a segment of the Gig Geezer on that exact theme. And another thought that I've shared again is how you can't earn more if you're accepting for less. This strategy can work even with gig apps, namely last mile gig delivery apps. But this is more so applicable when dealing with brokered opportunities. What are brokered opportunities? If you deal with transporting goods and items and the opportunities are negotiated via load boards, you are more than likely going to have to deal with a broker. And in order to book loads for yourself, you're going to have one of two numbers: an MC number, a motor carrier number, or a USDOT number. Before I go further into this segment of the Gig Geezer, a couple of things I want to point out. First one is I mentioned with the intro about countdown to six figures. Well, um, I am on pace to reaching the plateau of six figures for a second consecutive calendar year. This week, I earned $1,342.18. Last week, I was at $1,419.78. For the month, I'm a tick under $3,500 at $3,482, but that is on par with what's gone on the past few months in this downward trend of things. For the year, I'm at $92,855, meaning that I am right at about $7,145 away from reaching that plateau of six figures. So, also, what I'm going to do before I continue with this thought about how you earn more by not accepting for less, I want to share content that I documented yesterday, Friday, November 15, 2024, with my last brokered opportunity, in which I transported a pallet to Atlanta. So it's safe to say that at least I am a little more than halfway to the drop off location. But as soon as I got into Augusta, I encountered traffic. Come to find out, left lane is closed, as you see it here. And so everything is one lane right for the time being. And in certain situations, it seems that you just have no choice but to stay on the freeway. It's probably faster in the long run than trying to find an alternate route. Now, I told the broker that I should be there about 5:45. So anywhere between 5:45 and 6 o'clock is where I'm thinking I will be at the drop-off location. But these are some of the things that you deal with when you do brokered opportunities, or for those whose lifestyle is over the road. From what I can tell, based on my interaction with another driver from the Columbia, South Carolina metropolitan area, fast friend of mine, I think I made the right move. Now, what's interesting too is that I started the day. I saw a last mile gig delivery opportunity It was like 700 pounds of paint. It was a 60-mile trip. I bid what I bid, but obviously the person who got it for a much lower number. Probably was claimed at the offer amount. Then I saw a brokered opportunity, one that was in Colombia, and it was a very short distance, but apparently I was probably 2 minutes too late in trying to get in on it, and it was already booked by the time I spoke to somebody. Then there was another brokered opportunity that appeared, and that one was grabbed or booked probably within 30 seconds, because certain brokers, you're able to access their load board and book it directly. So then I happen to search load board again, and I happen to catch the one that I'm on now. I saw the brokered opportunity on the load board. It was the posted offer was $400. When I contacted them and I got to talking to them, they recognized who I was, and they said, well, the best we can do is 425. I said, I'm done 500. I've done a lot of these runs for y'all, and 500 is the number. In fact, that's the number that we talked about last week. So they said, let me get back with you. And called me back, or I called him back. I believe, no, he called me back, and he said, okay, we're good to go. I'll be sending you the rate confirmation sheet. Now, it may help in that situation, having completed multiple loads for them. Not only that, but multiple trips on this specific route or lane, as what they use. Either way, multiple times. The last time I completed this particular run was 2 months ago, back in September. So, very familiar route, and so that's why I was a bit annoyed to be held up in traffic on the other side of Augusta. So we're gonna resume this conversation once we're at the drop-off location in the Atlanta area. All right, so as you see here, I've just made a left-hand turn, and I'm going into the business park of where the drop-off location is. This is a route or run that I've done on multiple occasions so far in 2024. The process when I go inside to the freight forwarder is typically I hand them this here, this bill of lading, and then they set me up with a forklift operator who then I meet over at the ramp, and he unloads, he signs a copy, and then I keep a copy, and then I'm pretty much done. I contact the broker, let them know, hey, order's delivered, and then what I'll do is while I'm on site, I'll also file my invoice with my factoring company so that more than likely I will see money in my checking account on Tuesday morning. It's usually the next business day when I get paid. So I'm pretty much at the end of this process. I'm pretty much at the end of the process here. $500, it's okay. It's not a $2 a mile type opportunity, as what I've often talked about. It's going to be more like buck 80 and change, 278 miles total. So it is what it is. It was a money earning opportunity that I certainly was looking for, at least on my behalf, coming into today, given how my week has been. So what I'll do is once I'm once I'm finished with checking in, I will be showing footage of this easy order opportunity being unloaded, and I'll resume this from the Geezer studio. Now, some may wonder, can negotiating be taught? Perhaps if you work at a car lot, but then you may have to deal with a sales manager who has a lot of patience and one who is patient enough to allow you to learn the process. Most sales managers aren't. They're quick to run you out on a rail, particularly because of you not doing things the way they expect you to do it or the way they like it, or also you're not earning enough money in a manner that they like. There's a lot of reasons why you run out on the rail, and your inexperience may be one of them. When it comes to delivery and transport, I will venture to say that experience is likely to be your best teacher. Your content, like mine and others on YouTube, may help, but your experiences alone will have a greater impact. Now, what I can do is share some of my experiences in this video. It may not be an exact account, but you will see how I have evolved over the past year and a half, now going on 2 years. One truth you'll find with most negotiating scenarios in delivery and transport is that you don't have a lot of time. In many cases, you'll have mere seconds. Best case scenarios that you may have a minute or two. The reason is that when you call, when you decide to respond to that posting on a load board, you are dealing with one broker, but there may be other brokers in that office space who are also trying to book the same load. And so uh, it's a very common experience that as you get farther along into the process, that broker may bring up in the conversation, oh man, this load just got booked right from up under me. It happens a lot. Now, I will say too, it may be good for some to have a dispatcher who truly works on your behalf at securing delivery and transport opportunities. Another thing to remember, as I've mentioned previously, is that you'll have one, maybe two chances at securing a load opportunity. What do I mean by that? Okay, you initially inquire. It may be by email, but let's just say with the typical phone conversation, they go over the load and then they say, we can do it for $200, but you come in thinking 300. Now they may say, well, the most I can go is 225 on this, and you still hold at 300. So they'll say, I got to talk to my supervisor. I got to talk to the guy, the actual salesperson with this load, and see what he has to say. Now, this is where a load can be booked right from up on you. When they come back, it could be that that load was booked by another broker who's working that same load opportunity. But let's say that they do come back and say, well, the best we can do is 250. That is the absolute best. Now, that may be your last opportunity. It could be that y'all agree on that number, or you may be able to hold your own and get 300, or you may ask, okay, let's do 275. Um, they may say we 250 is it, and so that's your second opportunity, or you may say, well, 250 ain't enough. See you, but you get where I'm going with this. You will have one, maybe two chances. Three is an absolute rarity. So, what I'm going to do is share with you 15 examples of brokered opportunities that I've completed. I will note too that I've negotiated for every brokered opportunity that I've ever completed. In the beginning, I was merely glad to book loads, and maybe I was even mindful of securing something that is or was slightly above the current and prevailing benchmark out there of $1 a mile or better. Personally, it took me having booked more than 10 brokered opportunities before I got beyond accepting lows that hovered around $1 a mile. Now, every last one of my brokered opportunities were for $1 a mile or better, but I got beyond that. And you'll see as I share these brokered opportunities. Over time, as you experience better paying opportunities, what my hope is for you and what happened for me is that I began raising my expectations that went with securing brokered opportunities, ones that actually made me money. Now, my actual very first brokered opportunity was from Charlotte to San Antonio, but I'm not counting that one in these examples. I'm starting with my second through sixth brokered load opportunities, which were far less impressive. And all these numbers were based on loaded miles because there's always going to be dead miles in virtually every brokered opportunity situation. April 3rd, 2023, $225, 215 miles from Spartanburg, South Carolina to Mebane, North Carolina. April 11, 2023, $300, 295 miles, Latson, South Carolina to Gainesville, Georgia. April 28th, $250, 245 miles from Savannah, Georgia to Atlanta. May 22nd, 2023, $200, 195 miles, Charleston, South Carolina to Rock Hill, South Carolina. June 13th, $200, 140 miles, Sumter, South Carolina to Gaffney, South Carolina. Total amount earned on those 5 opportunities, $1,175. Total loaded miles, 1,090. Average per mile, $1.07. Now, my first 5 brokered opportunities of this year, 2024, started on January 2nd, $235, 45 miles from Wando, South Carolina to Andrews, South Carolina. January 3rd, 2024, $800, 565 miles, Charleston, South Carolina to Miami. January 4th, $250, 75 miles, Manning, South Carolina to West Columbia, South Carolina. January 19th, $625 earned, 160 miles, Fountain Inn, South Carolina to Atlanta. January 24th, $450, 250 miles, Belmont, North Carolina to Atlanta. Total amount earned on those 5 trips, $2,360, 1,125 loaded miles, average $2.09. My last 5 brokered opportunities. Yesterday, November 15th, $500, 280 miles, North Charleston to Atlanta. October 31st, $400, 105 miles, Casey, South Carolina to Bentonville, South Carolina. November 4th, $475, 275 miles, Somerville, South Carolina to Atlanta. September 6th, $575, 280 miles, Aiken, South Carolina to Talladega. August 7th, 2024, $375, 160 miles from Duncan, South Carolina to Atlanta. Total amount earned $2,315. Total loaded miles 1,100. Average $2.10 a mile. Now, what you should see here is that based on my first trips to actually my last 10 trips, I've earned double per trip based on dollars per mile. I'm not caught up on dollars per mile. And I say that because I use that as one of many factors when I negotiate for brokered opportunities. What I look at as a starting point is that if say the loaded mile trip is 200 miles, I'm starting out at $400, or I'm depending on what it is or how many pounds or how many pallets or pounds that I'm transporting. The actual range may be between $400 and $450, and I'm not caught up on dollars per mile. And I think this is one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of drivers make because, oh, well, it's at least a dollar a mile. But then if it's a dollar a mile, and depending on the trip, I mean, let's say you go 100 miles, but then you had to put $60 in your tank. Well, basically, you just paid them to move 100. You just paid them to move their stuff. So that's why I don't get caught up on that dollar a mile or dollars per mile. What I'm looking at is a dollar amount based on the trip. So then what is the other lesson? Again, if you look at what I've earned and actual miles driven, the actual miles driven are all basically about the same. Okay. But the difference is that I've earned twice as much from my first brokered opportunities. And so that, in summing it up, you live and you should learn as you go. Now, one other thing I'm going to share before I end this segment of the Gig Geezer. I did my first live stream a couple of nights ago, Thursday, November 14th. And that was at 10:15. My next live stream I'm looking at doing is on Wednesday evening, and the ones after that will be Wednesday evenings at about 9 o'clock Eastern time. The main thing about this one is that this is going to be free game in on the subject of sprinter/cargo van ownership and operation, and just last mile delivery and brokered opportunities. So this is going to be a free game opportunity, and I welcome your input and I welcome your questions, and we'll go, and hopefully I'll see a lot of you during that live stream. So that's all I have for this segment of the Gig Geezer. If you like the content that's been provided in this segment or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome comments in the section below. I'm Inwood Lane. As always, may your grind and may your hustle continue.